Shri Ganeshaya Namo Namah. Greetings to everyone world over. Green morning, green afternoon, green evening to all our brothers and sisters across the globe, wherever you are. We extend you a very hearty welcome, very warm welcome. We know the world has passed through very difficult challenges, very difficult times. Every human being on this planet has seen something unusual, which we all have never seen before. We only used to read about Spanish flu, but we never knew what exactly must have been the Spanish flu. However, we were still connected with each other through these mobile phones, although we were confined to our places. There are a couple of challenges, and we would like to talk about them. And post-pandemic, what are the challenges, particularly during the pandemic when we learned how the schools, colleges, universities, institutions, they all got closed. Doctors, nurses, paramedical people, great warriors doing great job. But at the same time, I think teachers also are the great heroes. Every teacher has tried their level best to reach out every child world over. When we learned from UNESCO, 1.65 billion children were away from institutions. There are a lot of challenges, and how now when the schools are reopening, how parents are thinking, how teachers are thinking, what youth are thinking, what inhibitions they have got, how the entire humanity post-pandemic is behaving, and what do we expect? There are lots of mental health, wellness challenges. And during this budget, that's on 1st of February, Honorable Finance Minister of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharamanji announced something very special about this budget. So that also we all got to understand, we got to consider. Today we have got a very special guest. We have got all the way, as you are aware of, every Sunday we dedicate to non-resident Indians. And they come basically to give their vision. They share their expertise with us. Today we have got Dr. Priya V. Balakrishnan ji, the Immortal Institute, which is all the way in Texas in USA. She's traveling at this point of time, and she's on the other shore where there's almost a difference of 3 hours timing. You can well imagine it's early morning, 5 a.m. over there, the place where she is. In spite of that, she had been very kind to come for the program. Today we have got 1479th webinar. We have not taken a break even for a single day, right from 25th of March 2020 onwards. And you can well imagine how much is to be shared with the humanity, how much wellness for everybody we have to think of. Let's move in the journey. Couple of slides I flip through, and thereafter we discuss with Dr. Priya ma'am. On behalf of International Chamber for Service Industry, we extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you very much for being part of this program today. And we wish to share the mental health and wellness related, the complete area. And ICSI extends a very warm welcome to all our brothers and sisters across the globe. Now, during the lockdown, our thought processes, they got impacted and affected. Our business got affected. Physical and mental health got affected. Main part of the universe, education also got deeply affected. Many children who are getting back now to the institutions after 2 years. What is the mental pressure? How do we bring mental wellness? What are the challenges before the world? That is a very important subject. Just 2 days back, we had a mental marathon where we got almost 50 plus speakers coming and talking on the mental wellness. And Dr. Priya ma'am was very kind to spare some precious time that day as well. When the pandemic was declared, ladies and gentlemen, on 25th March 2020, complete lockdown, our chamber decided we will try and get with the vertical of education. Our teacher, our youth, our parents, all of us, we will move together. Let me just flip 3 slides, important to share with all of you. Every Monday, because during the pandemic, the entire program we have structured, restructured, and we have been packaging, repackaging, depending on what is the need of the hour. We learned there's something known as human library. And that is when actual libraries or college, school libraries you are not visiting, there's a human library, there's a human wisdom, there's a human knowledge reservoir. And every Monday at 8 p.m., like today's Sunday, you're meeting non-resident Indians. Every Monday, we bring the human library to you. We bring the world leaders who talk to us, who share their vision with us, who share the life challenges of theirs with us. And that becomes inspiration for teachers, educators, counselors, children, parents, everybody. Tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., you would be meeting Journal Ved Prakash Malik, PVSM, AVSM, former Chief of Army Staff of India, and his wife, who is also Army Medical Officer, Madam Ranjana Malik, the First Lady from the Armed Forces that time when he was Chief of Army Staff. The lady is always a president of AWA, Army Wives Welfare Association. Tomorrow they will talk, both of them, their story, and they will discuss with us. Let me remind you, the Kargil War took place when General Malik was the Chief of Army Staff. Tomorrow we are going to discuss their story. Next day, on 8th of March, it's an International Women Day. What does today's youth want? What the girl child feels? What are their inspiration? We are going to get 75 girls, women folk from the northeast part of India. This we will be bringing with Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council, all of us together. We will discuss how important it is for every girl child to remain happy. We would like to hear their voice. We would like to hear their views. We would like to hear their expertise. Nobody is small, nobody is big. Every idea is a noble idea. It is a wisdom. We all will share, and we would hear 75 girls all the way from the 8 states, northeast part of India. 22nd of March is a water day. That's a World Water Day, Water Saving Day. And 2 days prior to that, because that happens to be a Tuesday, so people told us that if you have a function on Sunday, we all will be able to participate, like today is Sunday. So 20th of March, 2 to 9 p.m., 7 hours, we'll have water management through education ecosystem. What can be done in schools? What can be done in colleges? What can be done in universities to save every drop of water on this planet? And then you all need happiness. You need laughter. You need wonderful environment around you. Our chamber is organizing with Chandigarh administration, North India's first film tourism festival, along with Media Entertainment Skill Council, where all the northern states will participate together, 13th to 17th of April, where every child will have an opportunity. You are a good actor, you are a singer, you are a dancer, you are into music, you are into mimicry, you are into anything related to, you will display your talent. So ladies and gentlemen, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This is from the Napoleon Hill. Let's come together. Let's make a better world. Your mental wellness and your inner happiness should be the main priority in everything, whatsoever we do. Your physical wellness, your mental wellness, your social wellness, your professional wellness, your emotional wellness, and your spiritual wellness. When we talk about mental health, why keeping your mind healthy is so essential to happiness. Madam is an expert. Today's speaker is an expert. She is going to talk to all of us. And there are a couple of questions which comes to our mind before we get to her. These post-traumatic times, which we all have faced. What are the challenges? What are the mental health and wellness challenges? And what are the, basically traumatic experiences which the children or the adult or anybody who has gone through during this pandemic? And how do we repair the world? How do we repackage everything? How do we remain positive? How do we all focus and we rebuild once again? Do you know Japan? how many times the typhoons, and how many times the tsunamis, and how many times the destruction, how many times volcanoes. But Japanese never cry. They always build themselves once again. So let's enter to the new world this morning, this afternoon, this evening, world over, with Dr. Priya V. Balakrishnan ji, all the way from the United States. We hold her in a great respect. Join me in extending a very warm welcome to Dr. Priya ma'am, and namaskaran, hearty welcome. And
Thank
and
you.
and
Vanakkam.
we wish to learn, we wish to pick up everything whatsoever is in your wisdom and your reservoir. Please
Thank you.
unleash and unlock all that and share with the universe. We want to
Thank
make
you.
world once again a happy place, a better place. So ma'am,
Thank you.
let's first of all, let's start with the consequences of this pandemic, what we have faced. And
Yes.
particularly, let's take our children, let's take our teachers, let's take our parents, and let's take all that together. And is there any in-depth study which is available from the Western part, which can be made applicable universally, and we can all take care of it? With these words, a very warm, a very hearty welcome to Dr. Priya V. Balakrishnan, madam.
Thank you so much, Gulshan ji. You are a light in our lives. Thank you so much for conducting these seminars and sessions for the benefit of all of society, our country, India. It is my honor and privilege to be here today and to be in your august company. All of the sacrifices and service you have done for Mother India is unmatched, and I feel so honored and grateful to be included in any discussion that you are leading and that you are sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us and with all of us. Um, you have asked a very important and relevant question to start this discussion. And here in the West, there is a lot of literature on exactly this topic. And this topic is called, there is a whole topic under the development of the child and in pediatric psychiatry called adverse childhood events. Now, adverse childhood events are of the nature that we are seeing today. They will result from the things that the adults in the child's life are exposed to, that we are seeing affecting society today. Be it the pandemic, be it the news of war in Ukraine, or other sort of instability and unsafety that causes loss of jobs, loss of economic and financial security, loss of food safety, loss of shelter safety, and greater societal instability, be it crime, be it the availability of substances of abuse, be it imprisonment, be it abuse, be it increased incidence of divorce and other conflict at home. These are all very unstable situations for a child to be in. And so I just wanted to go over this list of adverse childhood events that in the United States have been studied and in other Western countries as well, that are associated extensively with the development of several diseases in the child in the future if they are not adequately and properly addressed at an early stage. So the number one adverse childhood event is physical abuse. So this consists of beating a child or pushing a child or bruising a child and roughly mishandling a child, or, of course, with babies here, you must have heard of shaken baby syndrome and things like that, where it's not the mother that is the caregiver in the first 5 years of the child's life for economic reasons. Both the husband and the wife have to work. So they put a lower wage worker to take care of the baby. The baby keeps on crying. The lower, the au pair or nanny or whoever it is picks up the baby and shakes the baby to get the baby to sleep. And then there is extensive damage inside to the brain. And then suddenly, one day the child is found not breathing. And this has happened with several Indian families in the United States. And the people who are responsible are Americans and also other citizens from other countries who are here on visitor visa as au pair and things like that. So physical abuse. So all these things go up when there is societal instability, war, and things like pandemic. And the reasons for that are general economic. As you know, there is a Sanskrit poem, Vidya dadati vinayam, vinayadyati patratam, patratva dhanam apnoti, dhanat dharmam tatha sukham. So education gives humility, and humility gives the ability to become a container and to hold lot of knowledge and wisdom. And when you become a container for wisdom, you become a container for wealth. And from wealth arises uh, righteous actions, thoughts, behaviors, and eventually happiness from that. So this is kind of the progression. But when the wealth goes away, when jobs are lost, when GDP falls, when there are economic pressures, people are not ordering, they're staying at home, they're afraid to spend because they don't know what tomorrow brings. Is it going to be war? Is it going to be 20,000 Indian students are stuck in Ukraine? They're coming now. MEA is arranging for them. Our family has contributed a substantial amount of money to International Seva to bring these Indian students back home from Ukraine, because they were suffering a lot of discrimination and terror, and this is also engendered by conflict and war. So, and even though they may be in their 20s, for many of them, their brains have not yet settled into an adult pattern of functioning. Here in the United States, they do not allow the car insurance premiums to drop until the age of 25. So they give the child until the age of 25 for the brain to fully develop. Until the age of 25, the child is covered by the parents' insurance policies and so on. So you can imagine our students who are there in Ukraine, the kind of mental trauma they would have suffered. In India, from COVID pandemic, hundreds of thousands of children have been rendered orphaned or have been pushed into financial instability by the demise of one parent, or into a state of mental trauma by the demise of a dear grandparent who maybe took care of them or who lived with them, or a teacher at school, as we heard yesterday from Dr. Arora with his children. And so many other things can cause severe trauma and a feeling of loss of safety and security in the child's life. So we talked about physical abuse. Then another thing that nobody talks about, which exists in all societies, is actually sexual abuse. And this may not happen at the school. It may happen in certain families inside the home, and it's a taboo topic to talk about. But here in the West, they talk about it. I wouldn't say here also it's a taboo topic, but there is a little bit more openness to receiving. People don't judge the victim of sexual abuse. They don't judge the victim as dirty. So then you have verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is bad enough because verbal abuse is a lot more common. When somebody loses their temper and they start yelling, that is almost like a physical blow. In older people, it can even cause heart attacks and strokes when they receive the physical blow related to verbal abuse. So if you have an elderly person that doesn't have a job, that is not financially self-supporting, dependent on a younger relative living in the house, helping with the cooking, the cleaning, and the child raising, and the young person loses their temper on the old person, then that is elder abuse and it's verbal abuse, and that person can even die from those repeated blows. But it can also happen with children. We have seen so many young parents not know how to get to the root cause of their emotional distress, to express what they're actually feeling. And see, these emotions are very transitory. They only occur for 90 seconds, this whole outburst, anger, or whatever the emotion. It may be intense feeling of hatred, intense feeling of jealousy, intense feeling of rage or anger. It only lasts for 90 seconds. So as I'm talking about this, I will also kind of slip in these little tips and tricks to control those, to get over those challenges. So my mentor has a technique. He says, take 6 breaths to allow those 90 seconds to pass, right? So you have to become very self-aware. You have to slow down. When you get really angry, immediately you slow down. Hey, something is going on. What is it? What is happening to the neurotransmitters in the brain that is causing me to feel so much of rage? And actually what it is there is some circuit that is not able to be completed in the brain. So there's a huge amount of release of a neurotransmitter that is triggering this emotional response in the body. The body is saying, oh my God, there's a circuit that's not complete. Come on, come on. Ooh, boom. It comes out like that. So what do? We recognize this as the body is trying to tell us something, some threat is there, some danger is there, some deep emotion is there that we're not able to identify the root cause of. So what are we doing for the root cause? We don't first have to identify it before we can do something about it. To identify it, he says, slow down and take 6 breaths. So become aware. Oh, I'm getting angry. Stop immediately. Don't talk, because verbal abuse can result when we get angry. And take a deep breath in. Well, just pranayama principles only. Here they say deep breath in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and breathe out through the mouth as if you're sipping a straw. And you can breathe for a count of 8. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, and breathe out for a count of 8. And when we do this 6 times in a row, that 90 seconds would have passed. And the verbal abuse will not occur. This verbal abuse is going to lead to the child having heart disease early. If you're the parent and you're yelling at the child, it can lead to the child dying earlier. Maybe you have job insecurity. I'm talking about the parent, to the parent. Maybe you lost your job during pandemic and financially ends are not being met. Maybe it's hard to put food on the table. You understand? It's not a very hard time for so many people. We understand. But how do we stop it from being transmitted intergenerationally? How do we ensure that at least the children have a better life? That we owe the children, right? So the other thing is emotional. So where emotionally we say, why didn't you get first rank? I'm going to lock you up in the dark room, or you will, no food for whatever. There are parents who do things like that. I have never encountered such. I mean, I don't have, thankfully, such parents, but I know that there are children, because I have counseled them here in America, that what their parents did to them in India, growing up in India. And they have broken marriages. They have severe health problems. I will tell you anonymously the story of a young lady that I helped like this here in America, that resulted from the trauma of childhood in India. That helped resolve the trauma, and whatever medical problem she had here got resolved. So this is that serious. If you want the child to do well and go to the next level, which is what all parents, I know, Indian parents want it much more than American parents. American parents will just let the child figure out. You're 18, now it's up to you. Whatever you want to do with your life, you have to support yourself. You have to figure out your life. This way, they're ensuring the virtue of the child. If they're the good American parents, they say if you fall sick, or if somebody, you break up, or your dog dies or something, come here, take love and affection, food, whatever, for a few days, then get up and go work. You have to work, because in work lies your salvation. Your human dignity is coming from work, right? But very, very kindly and unconditionally say, if you become disabled, I will support you, take care of you for the rest of your life. There is no, if you go through terrible times in marriage, in relationships, with children, health, I will help you, right? But rest of the time, you're well and everything is going well, you go, you make friends, you get along with everybody in society, you become a useful member of society, you earn your living, and you go up the ladder. This is the attitude of American parents. Nothing is good or bad. I'm just saying it's very different from Indian parents who support our children with paying the tuition fees for college and providing the clothing, shipping them the food, writing letters to them every day, calling them on the phone, on FaceTime, on Zoom. Are you okay, child? Can I come and stay with you? I'll cook and clean, keep your house. This is Indian parents. A beautiful, beautiful culture. Nothing wrong with either one, actually. But the emotional part is when our weaknesses, our failings in life, we are expecting the child to resolve it for us. And we put it on the child, then that child is bearing an unbearable burden, because the child looks up to the parent as God. The parent is the sole figure of authority until the child can become financially independent, whatever age that is. Then a family member who's depressed or diagnosed with other mental illness can be a severe adverse childhood event for the child. Because I have seen so many cases here where the Mexican American population, we call them Hispanic people, a lot of them have this Native American blood, and some of them are partly from the Spanish conquerors from the past. They have the same culture where the parents do everything, they sacrifice everything for the child, but when the parent falls sick, like with diabetes, kidney failure, I've taken care of so many of these patients. The mother, all her life, she's done cooking, cleaning. She goes to all the houses of the Indian doctors, whatever, and she's cleaning, cooking, not just Indian doctors, whatever, whoever it is. I'm just giving an example. And then by the time she's 45, she's developed severe diabetes. By the time she's 50, she's already in kidney failure. And the youngest of her 3 or 4 or 6 children, that most often it's a girl child, that child becomes the sole caregiver of the mother. She has to take her to all the doctor's appointments. She has to make sure she doesn't fall sick. If she falls sick, she has to be with her during dialysis, hold her hand. A lot of Indian children are also, some Indian children are also doing this. But imagine the drain on that child. I have actually, I have encountered so many of these Hispanic and Indian children who are caregiving for their parents. I've showered them with as much love and affection as I can as a doctor in the short time of interaction that I have with them, meaning for the duration of their admission. You can call me anytime. I'm here for you. Nothing is a wrong reason to call, because you're your parents' caregiver. It should never have become like that. As parents, we owe the children the responsibility of not being a burden on them for the entirety of their lifetime, as much as possible. With our wisdom, we can make it happen, because our wisdom and experience, why are we there older than them? To be wiser and to use that experience to give them freedom. That is the beauty of the Western culture, is they take it upon themselves to never be the burden, never be a burden on their child. It's not always in our hands, but to the extent that it is in our hands, we must do that. And then if you have a family member that is addicted to alcohol or another substance, that is a major issue. And definitely during this kind of global suffering, some people are very sensitive. Children are also very sensitive. Some adults are very sensitive to this kind of constant high level of restlessness and insecurity, instability globally. So they start drinking because they feel the pain more intensively than people who are able to shut it out and carry on with focus and be karma yogis. These people are more connected, you could say, plugged in with the planet and the consciousness, collective consciousness. So they get more into addictions and things like that. Then you have, if the parents themselves had any of these abuses, then the child is more likely to develop adverse childhood events. If the parents are separated, single parenthood is one of the most stressful, traumatic things for the parent and for the child, therefore. And here in America, there is a lot of single parents in the middle class, lower middle class, and in the poor. Most of the time, it's the mother who's raising the child. Occasionally, it's the father. And the amount of pressure and stress they're under, they're the first ones to lose their jobs, because every time the child gets sick, the mother has to take a day off from work. If the child has asthma, the mother is missing days left, right, and center without being able to tell the workplace the previous day. They have to call in on the same day that the child wakes up sick. And because the mother has financial instability, job insecurity from the child's sickness, the child gets more sick more often. So this separation and single parenthood, while it is good for the child emotionally in one way, that the parents are not quarreling and cutting each other into pieces, shredding each other into pieces emotionally, that is horrible for the child. But the single parenthood during extreme stress like pandemic and like war, single parenthood is very difficult to sustain. Single parenthood is easy to sustain in a cultured, civilized society in which there is stability, and it's desirable for the child. But in a situation where if the parents are together, there is war at home. But single parenthood in a situation of external war, external pandemic, is very difficult to sustain. And so separation, divorce. So these are the commonly encountered adverse childhood events. And there are any number of studies, Gulshanji, that are showing that these adverse childhood events are associated with very terrible outcomes in children long term. And I will just list them. I can give you some references after this talk if you would like me to. Um, but the child is more likely to do more poorly, because you can imagine when a child is so disturbed emotionally, mentally, or physically, when a child is hurt physically, you don't even have to beat the child. I'll give you an example. This happened to my son. Private school, we're paying very good tuition fees, and they take the child, a child like my child, because in the IQ test in kindergarten, he scores the highest above everybody else. Okay. But they have this, what they call, uh, uh, they have legacy children. These are the children of the former students or that graduated from that school, all white, basically. And they have
your voice has gone down, ma'am. Your voice has gone
I'm
down.
sorry. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now it's better, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So I put the phone in a cup because my stand is not there and blocked the microphone. Sorry. So in the school, the other children, so they accepted all these children in kindergarten, the legacy children, to make them form bonds. Then in first grade, he took the test again. This time they gave him admission. And now they are not giving scholarship or anything. We're paying the full tuition fees. In second grade, my child was a very happy child, despite there was a lot of conflict at home between the husband and wife, us two. And that is a topic for another day discussion. But the child was happy because we both wanted the child to be, at least I can speak for myself. I think he did too. So in the class, he would talk and he would laugh and he would make jokes and, generally be happy. And the teacher came and she put a cardboard box around him. She told him, if you don't stop talking, I will put this cardboard box and I will keep your desk isolated from the other children. Only 15 children in the class. And she put the cardboard box for 2 hours, 3 hours. And then he couldn't talk. She isolated his desk from the others. He didn't even say anything. And then she called us and she said, you need to have a parent-teacher meeting because your child has been misbehaving and you need to control him better at home. So I know my child. I know he's not misbehaving. He's a very responsible and a very caring and beautiful soul on the inside. I'm very lucky and blessed. I don't think that I had anything to do with it. It was all God's grace from the grandparents' sacrifice and patriotism. So so my husband said, okay, we can go together, but if you're coming, you shouldn't open your mouth. Even if what she's saying is wrong, just listen and don't say anything. So this was the condition for me to be allowed to go to the interview with the teacher. I said, okay, because I wanted to be present and I wanted to hear what her complaint was about my child. I went to the interview. She said, your child was talking a lot and he was laughing a lot. And I told him first, be quiet. He didn't listen. He continued to talk and make jokes. Then I told him, if you don't stop, I will put a casita on you. This is a cardboard thing so that he can't see the children on either side, and it blocks his face and it blocks him from being seen. And I put the casita on your child. And I felt that we should reinforce this punishment at home with the parents. You both should tell him that he cannot talk, laugh, giggle out of turn. And I've told him that I will be talking to them. My child is also in that meeting. And he's listening to the teacher describe his behavior to the two of us. It's like pulling down the pants of a child and showing the private parts of the child publicly to everybody. So I told her, I don't think my child is like that. He's a very responsible, responsive child. If you tell him nicely, I'm sure he'll listen. I don't think he's a disruptive child. He doesn't need to be disruptive. And, of course, my husband glared at me and he was like, we had a deal, you need to keep quiet and let her talk. So she went on. And then I realized I came home, my child was deeply disturbed. and he couldn't talk. He's a boy child. Boy children can't give vent to their feelings, like girl children are much more in touch with our feelings, and we're more easily able to express our thoughts and feelings. And this child was suffering. He was in acute distress. And he went outside the house and he takes this ball and he's throwing it like 20 feet, 30 feet high and catching it, just trying to, eliminate those feelings in his body of that rejection by the teacher. So I could see the suffering, and I knew that she had inflicted great amount of trauma on him, because he's a very responsible and a leader kind of child. All children are leaders. Why? Any child can be a leader. Every child has a potential to be a leader. So it's only adults that diminish certain children and put up certain children, right? Otherwise, everybody is born with the potential for leadership, isn't it? Gulshanji, are you there? Yeah, okay. So what happened was, I thought about it, and I know that if I write a letter complaining to the headmistress that the teacher did this, the headmistress will come on the side of the teacher. So I decided to write the letter to the teacher herself directly. And rather than point out what all she did wrong, I thought I would tell her what all she has underestimated in my child. So I said, you don't know this child. I just said, I know everything that you said about my child, but you don't know my child. You don't know his background. These are all the things that he has done as a second grade child outside of school to care for loved ones and friends. And I listed everything that he had done as a child to care for others and protect others, and including family members. And I said, you don't know what he's going to do in the future. This is his potential. These are all the things he's going to do, which I don't even have to tell him. He's going to do it on his own because I can see it. And I said, it's such a pity that I had to be the one to share all this with you. And I left it at that. So immediately she took the letter to the headmistress, and the headmistress had a talk with her, because this was a second Indian family she had done something bad to. The other family was half black, half Indian. And so at the end of the school year, they actually let her go. And they called me and said, would you like your teacher to change classrooms, your child to change to a different teacher? So it had the correct outcome. I showed the letter to my son. I said, this is what I think of you. It doesn't matter what she thinks of you. It doesn't matter if somebody has a poor opinion of us. We have the human right and the human dignity to seek a better opinion from somebody else. That is our birthright. And as a child, imagine the figure of authority like a god, a teacher in the classroom telling you you're disruptive. Then I found out she was a paralegal who had worked with a criminal lawyer. How do you expect a paralegal who had worked with a criminal lawyer who has then become a teacher to behave with children? And they have the prejudices about dark skin. They think dark skinned people are criminals, whatever. So my point here is adverse childhood events can reduce a child's lifespan. It can cause early onset of chronic medical disease in a child. Diseases like asthma, diabetes, early onset of heart disease. It can cause a child to develop addictions to things like, in this country, they are describing addictions to pornography, to sex, to drugs, to alcohol, to inability to focus, inability to concentrate, inability to have attention span for a prolonged period of time. And it also causes high-risk behavior. So the child takes more risks. When they get to the age they can drive a car, they're getting into accidents, or they're driving drunk, or they're doing daring tricks with their friends because they want to, process this. Girls are exhibiting other kind of behaviors where they're doing daring things for women, right? So these are the consequences of unaddressed adverse childhood events. And no matter how secure a child may have been before a colossal calamity like a pandemic or a colossal calamity like war, the kind of disruption that these terrible external challenges cause in the life of a middle class or a poor child, they are, you cannot even you cannot comprehend the kind of chaos that it causes in such a child's mind. I will give you an example. Swami Dayananda Saraswati started Chhatralayas all over India, and the Chhatralayas were to take these children out of their inhospitable environments at home. These were slum children or beautiful, beautiful babies, all of them. No consideration for religion, caste, anything like that. Whatever religion, whatever caste, if they had a difficult family situation and the parent came and told them, Swamiji, I cannot stop drinking, or the woman comes and says, my husband cannot stop drinking. He drinks and comes and beats me every day. I can't have the child see it. Bring the child and leave it in the Chhatralaya. Then from NRIs, they collect funds, and Indians too. And then they have teachers, and they have somebody at the head of the school. And the child is exposed to disciplined habits. Start the day early, do the prayer, do the exercise, yoga, take your bath, wash your clothes, make your bed, then come to school. Then they have the lessons during the school day. And so 8 or 9 months in a year, they're away from the dysfunctional home environment, and these children are blooming and thriving and coming up. So even in families where things are okay, kind of okay before the pandemic and before war, during such major external stressors, things could have gotten worse. And teachers need to be aware that these children are potentially being traumatized in such home environments. And when a child acts violent, or they have a fight in school, or they misbehave with the teacher, or they're showing disciplinary problems, that this is a sign that there is some severe instability at home. The child is feeling unsafe, insecure. There is some, one of these adverse childhood events is going on. Maybe the child's mother died from COVID, and the father is not able to provide the mother's care. Maybe food is not ready on time. Maybe food is not there because the mother is not cooking. Maybe the father died and the mother doesn't have a way to make an income. So there are so many possibilities. And for teachers and other caregivers in society who are helping to bridge the gap between parental care, and the limited resources that are available, and the child's well-being for the long-term future, there are simple things we can do, like teach the child how to take 6 and calm the circuits, calm the neuronal circuits in the brain, neurological circuits, just by taking 6 deep breaths and calm the brain down. Punishment is not the answer. Teaching the child how to deal with these emotions and feelings and getting to the root cause of them by first calming down the circuits. Then the second step is awareness, intention, and action. You become aware of what caused that anger. Teach this to the child. What do you actually want to do? So actually, when they didn't include me in that game, I felt left out. My feelings were hurt that they didn't include me in that kabaddi game. They left me out of the team or the group. I would like to become part of the team. That's the intention. The action is go and tell the team, hey, if somebody doesn't want to participate in the game today, or they're sick or whatever, will you consider me as a replacement? So awareness, intention, and action. Teach the child how to process, become aware of these feelings, then articulate the intention that led to that buildup of that emotion, and then take the corresponding action for the intention rather than allowing it to bubble up as this emotion. That is a second inner size. So all these inner sizes, they're called, we can train the brain to get over the emotional, sort of challenges that we are repeatedly encountering in children that have faced these prominent adverse childhood events. There are others too. I can share them with you as we go along. There are so many techniques that people in the West have developed to deal with trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder. And in children who develop this post-traumatic stress disorder, like I said, not only are they more likely to develop physical ailments like disease, lifelong chronic medical illnesses, they are more likely to be financially insecure, more likely to be socioeconomically unstable, more likely to have difficult personalities at work, more likely to have difficult personalities at home and with the family. They are more likely to divorce. They are more likely to have children with sickness and have children go poor. they are more likely to do crime, to go to prison themselves. There's so much literature on this here in the West, not because it's a better society, but because they have seen the ugliest of the when you don't treat the mother with respect in the home. Where in India, we are lucky, we have goddess worship in good families. The wife is treated with a tremendous amount of respect in good families. But it may not always be the case in all cultures. And when the mother is not treated well, or she is disrespected repeatedly in front of the child, that is a damaged child. That is a child with trauma, particularly if it's a girl child, but even with a boy child. How can you have a healthy, and the best families in America, they go for counseling for this. Husband and wife are high achieving, MD, PhD, MD, JD, whatever. They have a stable marriage for 20 years, 25 years, 50 years. Over a period of 50 years, people are not, the wife is not MD, but I'm just saying so these marriages that have lasted 25 years, 20 years stably, they have invested the time every week. They go to a therapist and they say, he didn't come. He was supposed to meet me for dinner. I'd cooked the dinner. He came an hour late from work, and he could have been nice and brought some flowers, whatever it is. The mother is saying this. The husband is saying, yes, I'm sorry, I didn't do that. Something came up at work. Then they discuss a mechanism for how to address, when you've made a commitment to your wife, how to deal with the sudden thing that comes up at work. And then they solve it. They solve problems every week as they're arising. The son came and told the mother something, but doesn't want to tell the father. And what he told the mother is something that is scary, and the mother doesn't know how to deal with it. In the therapy, they bring it up and they resolve it. So healthy families have equality of both husband and wife. They have equal respect, equal importance, and they don't have secrets between the children and the parents. And they're approaching all problems as family problems. And they are doing it consistently with the investment of time and energy and effort, money in this counseling and therapy. This is one of the suggestions I would like to make, Gulshanji, is that we can train a cadre of neuro coaches in India who can help these children, maybe 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 of them. We can have a short course, we can give certificates, and we can supervise and back them up for difficult situations with children. And these neuro coaches can be employed by schools. And if the school is a large enough, maybe full-time job, but let's say they are smaller schools, maybe the neuro coach can serve between 1 and 4 schools, each one. So we can train about 3,000, maybe more, even 5,000, 6,000, depending on the demand for it. And I think these are simple, easy skills. There's a few more that I'm happy to teach also. And they are, I'll give you some examples. So another neuro coaching technique is you have a Tibetan bowl, metal bowl with a gong, okay? And you beat it, and there's a sonorous metallic ringing sound, and immediately go calm with the thoughts. And then you think of a happy moment when your mother hugged you, when you got a prize, or somebody said, oh, you're looking so cute, you're wearing such a nice dress, or your father bought you a lollipop or something, some very happy, pleasant memory. Bring that up. And then just give yourself touch therapy. We are teaching the child how to do this. This is helpful for adults. This is how they're teaching adults how to self-comfort ourselves, how to self-love ourselves, so that we are not doing the psychological transference where we are taking the trauma from somewhere and putting it out somewhere else. So just comfort yourself by stroking yourself, arms and face, and while remembering this happy memory, immediately the tension and the stress of that thing goes away. Another small technique is yawning. Stretch and yawn. When we yawn, it resets the brain back to the left prefrontal cortex, which is the genius side of the brain. So yawning is actually a reset from the amygdala, which is the high stress, the emotional, the reptilian part of the brain. It's like, this kind of animal kind of response. It comes from the amygdala. It moves to the genius. advanced human animal part of the brain, which is a left prefrontal cortex, just by yawning, just by taking 6 deep breaths over 90 seconds. It brings the blood supply back to the genius side of the brain, left prefrontal cortex. So these are some 4 simple techniques. And then I have one that takes about 2 minutes to do. It's called emotional freedom technique. It was developed by an engineer called Gary Craig. And there are many versions of it. It can be Googled also. I have tried at least 2 or 3 versions of it. And I have actually prescribed it and done it for a lot of very, very sick people, including family members when they were going through deathly illnesses. And it helped, and myself going through deathly illness, and it helped tremendously, profoundly. So I'm happy to share that at the end of our session. Gulshanji, I've talked continuously for so long. I think I've been very rude. And I wanted to ask you how, whether this is helping at all, or if there's any questions you have, and what further clarifications I can give. The importance of addressing this in childhood right now is so that society is not saddled with 500,000 or 1 million children, 10 lakh children that have had adverse childhood events. That will disrupt the entirety of the society and country's forward progress. Not to mention the suffering of those own children. Poor things. What did they do? Do they deserve this? So that's why, as a caring and a cultured and a civilized society that believes in the great and good things in life, that believes in nonviolence and lifting everybody as we climb, as my mentor says, let's uplift as we climb. Let's lift people along with us as we climb. As Kamala Harris says, I may be the first one through the door, but I will never be the last one, my mother told me. Bring more people in through the door.
Wonderful, sister. Wonderful, wonderful. I become speechless whenever I listen to you so patiently, like an elder brother. There's so much to assimilate. There is so much to learn. There's so much to perceive. There's so much to gain. There's so much to understand. And like a good student, I have taken all the notes of physical abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, 90-second anger, losing temper, how it can cause stroke, take 6 deep breath, tricks and tips, slow down, and then emotional abuse, trauma of childhood, global suffering, asthma, addiction, drugs, and other kind of strokes, inability to focus. And when you talk about Swami Paramahansa, then you talk about Chhatralya, and then somebody in between posted such a beautiful thought that Dr. Priya ma'am, we want to listen to her more and more. There are 1,440 minutes in every day. Can we get 1,440 different guidance tricks from Dr. Priya ma'am? This is somebody posted in the group. And
wow, why not?
Yes.
Why not?
Then one of the advisor of ours, who is taking care of 8 beautiful states in the northeast part of India, Honorable Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi ji, he has taken deep interest to bring northeast part of India to the main fold of India, and to get every child to be incorporated in North India. Right from 1973 onward, when I've been traveling to that particular part, and there are 8 beautiful states, 45 million plus people, different tribes, different cultures, different art, but every time my heart used to say, why don't I see somebody from the northeast part of India to be the newscaster, to be on the television? Why I don't see the television serial? Why I don't see their music albums? Why I don't see those faces singing Hindi songs and others? And it can be regional songs, doesn't make a difference. Everybody has got now the new education policy 2020, which has come, and something which you are saying, mother tongue, mother language, regional language, local language to be honored, and it plays very, very important role. And when you talk about your child, and when you gave the personal example, nothing could have been more touching to anybody in the human library. I would call it which otherwise we heard from you. Now, ma'am, I've got few challenges I want to discuss with you.
Sure.
First of all, you have made a mention about, first, let's take this part, then I'll come to my questions. You have
Absolutely.
mentioned about neuro coaches,
Yes.
and then you
Yes.
told 5,000 to 6,000.
Yes.
I'm a very hungry old young man. And I always look forward to how do I create more opportunities for young
Absolutely.
boys and girls for the entire
Absolutely.
country. These children have got a right. World
Wonderful.
over population is aging. There are many countries which do not have younger generation.
Absolutely.
Some of the traumas also came to notice during this pandemic.
Yes.
We know there was a more violence, there are more divorces, there is a more
Yes.
torture, there is a more beating cases. Those kind of things are coming up. The worst
Absolutely.
could happen that we learned from certain places that some of the young children, they had flown away from the places, they left their residences, they left their older parents. Nobody
Yes.
was to take care of them, and
Yes.
after a couple of days, when the dead bodies were removed, when they were stinking, then people have learned. So I think Indian culture, Indian ethos, our values, our Sanskriti, and we strongly believe Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family.
Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Beautiful.
I might have been
Beautiful.
born in northern India. I may carry any features. But my soul belongs to northeast part of India. I always look forward to northeast. I always say, because I have never forgotten the days in the army uniform, and that time the televisions were not much, and there used to be a kind of a bamboo on the rooftop, and they used
Mhm.
to put a sham booster over there because there was
Mhm.
no signal. There were black and white televisions. And
Wow.
I used to stop my army jeep anywhere. They used to give me a cup of tea. They used to allow me to watch Mahabharat serial also. And I used to see Sunday morning that episode in uniform, going to any residence, any place, and everybody was like, they used to treat like their family. I picked up a lot of values and I learned so much from Northeast part of India. I owe
Beautiful.
a lot to the people of Northeast part of India. What I wish
Lovely.
to share over here with you, ma'am,
Yes.
what can we do for the young boys and girls? Those can become neuro coaches. Now, we
Yes.
may use any term, but
Yes.
post pandemic, uh, economic challenges, job challenges,
Yes.
other kind of hardships are on the way. But at the same time, wherever the
Yes.
population is aging, they would also
Yes.
require younger generation to be helping them. I will
Absolutely.
come to school little later. First, can we take on this particular part, this neuro coaches? How does
Yes.
it differ? How does it differ? Or is it on the lines like somebody giving a helping hand, somebody giving a medicine timely, somebody is helping like a family member for the other activities of the home also? What exactly is the concept of the neuro coaches, what you've got? Or how does it differ from nurses and paramedical people?
Absolutely. Beautiful, sir. So heartwarming to hear you describe your experiences in Northeast India. It's a beautiful part of the country. The people are so loving and gentle and kind. And what you're telling me is really deeply touching my heart, because I feel that we must create opportunity for the young people. I mean, everywhere, but certainly there as well. So the Neuro Coach program is to help people with trauma, and there are we so we can create a custom program, and it may not be a short course, depending on how much content we want to empower these people with. And potentially they can do it after, they can be young people or they can be slightly older people also. We can have a age range, because some of them may be homemakers, housewives who want to help younger people, and they are more experienced. They've raised one or two children, They've seen the ups and downs of life. Some of them may be retired gentlemen in their 70s who want to help society. Some of them may be young people in their mid 20s who have just finished college, worked in a job, and have gotten disillusioned and they want to do something for society. So, what we can do for all these people is either it can be a small, a 3 day or something course like a boot camp, or we can extend it. Instead of doing 3 full days, we can do 1 or 2 hours every week, and we can extend it over a 3 month period. So they'll get 12 times 2 hours, like 24 hours of training over 3 months. And then we can have them do an internship with first 10 people. And this can be something, service that they can offer a school. So we can help them with the marketing for the school, because schools may not just easily hire people. Maybe you have connections with army schools, and maybe they can start there. Of course, army people, from what I can see, they can't too much be in touch with their feelings because they have to deliver results. They have to be on time. They have to show up whether they like it or not, and go do the discipline and do the work. And so there may be situations at home that it may be reflecting in the children at school. I don't know. So, but they can help they can help children at school, and then they can also help young adults who are already in their 20s, some in their 30s, maybe even some in their 40s, who are going through very, very difficult time in life, by teaching them these self-love and self-consoling techniques that they can practice themselves. So they'll take them for 3 or 4 sessions and first teach them the basis of self-love and self-forgiveness, self-compassion, and self-comforting and self-soothing. And then go practice the different techniques like emotional freedom technique with them a few times, and teach them what to say while doing it, and how to do it, and how many times to do it, and how to gauge whether they need to do it one more time for the same thing, and so on. So all that will take about 3 4 sessions. And the physiological and the neurological basis of this, they can teach them a little bit of that too. And once they have taught them this, then that person is now equipped to deal with the harsh stresses of life without necessarily seeking somebody or something on the outside. Of course, yoga and pranayama address it too, much better than neuro coaching. But not everybody has the time or the inclination or the, these are simple, small, ordinary people level techniques that you can do in 2 seconds, 2 minutes, those kinds of things. So this is only complementary. And what it does is it cuts off that sharp, jagged edge of that emotion. It cuts it off so that the person has equanimity and serenity and peace on the inside. And then they can, the chronic illness will not come. And they can address other things. So it's like a first aid. It's like a fire extinguisher. All these neuro coach techniques are fire extinguisher to deal with the fires that are erupting in people because of external stressors that they have no control over.
Dr. Priya, sister,
Yeah.
The other day I heard Dr. S.V. Ramachandran.
Yes, sir.
Dr. S.V. Ramachandran, he's also in United States. His grandfather worked with Babaji Ambedkar for Indian Constitution.
Oh, wow.
And he asked one question. He says, why humor is not a integral part of education ecosystem? Why humor is not a part of integral education ecosystem?
I love that question, sir. I love that question. This is a wise man asking a very deep, profound question.
Now, our chamber is working very closely with Media Entertainment Skill Council. Entertainment Skill Council. I strongly believe, my mother is just behind me. She is 92 years old and she's watching this program. She's listening and she's enjoying. She's right at the back. And she, till date, she always sings happy songs, positive songs, And I do not want to use the word romantic songs. I don't want to use that. But I'm telling, she's a happy mother. She wants
Yes,
to listen all positive songs. Now,
yes,
over here in this neuro coaching, because
yes.
in the entire Northeast, music is very prominent.
Hmm.
Every child is born with music. Every
Beautiful.
child is born with the sense of dancing and music. They are very
Yes,
lovable musical people.
right.
Can we integrate your neuro coaching program with
Absolutely.
with the therapy? Because
Absolutely.
I always, whenever I talk at home, they say, don't say therapy. I said, no, it is not only the spa where you call physical therapy. It's a
Yes,
mental therapy. It's a
absolutely.
happiness therapy. It's a musical therapy. It's an
Absolutely.
entertainment therapy. Why can't we call it? So in
Absolutely.
your program, if you bring an element somewhere, if you bring an element of the music, dance, singing, happiness, humor,
Hmm.
storytelling. Like when you were telling,
Stories. Mm,
yeah,
perfect.
stories, storytelling, all this, if
Yes,
we make it weave in a positive way, then
yes.
it will be from
Lovely.
India. It will be from
Strong and
India,
beautiful. I
from
love it, sir.
our chamber,
Yes,
first international skilling program post pandemic with Media
beautiful.
Entertainment Skill Council.
Beautiful. I love
And
the idea, sir. I will work with you. Let us make this happen.
and
And
my clientele, first I am going to focus on the B.Ed girls. Those are going to be teachers. They should be
okay,
happy teacher. They should be
absolutely.
humorous teachers. They should be entertaining teachers. They should be
Yes,
storytelling teachers. And they should
yes,
be yoga teachers. They should be
yes,
pranayam teachers. And they should be
absolutely.
laughing and being happy. Because I was just imagining when the teacher must have put the cardboard all around for that long, how
Yeah,
it's a cruelty. It's a
it is.
cruelty. I mean,
It is. I
and
couldn't
with,
stop it. Imagine
yeah,
that as a parent,
and you
paying
were
so
very,
much tuition.
yeah, you were very balanced, you were very matured, you took the right course of action, and the way you proceeded. Now over here, just to repay back to the society, let's organize a special program for children. they
Excellent.
they they may give tele services. they
Yes,
physically they physically may move to some foreign countries. they they
yes.
they may go to certain places, and let's
Beautiful, sir.
work out a 3 months program, because
Sounds good, sir.
less
Sounds
than three
excellent.
yeah, less than 3 months, it will not be acceptable to sector skill councils in India. Our
Yes.
chamber with your organization will
Beautiful, sir.
deliver with the efforts of all of us together.
Yes.
And I'm a hungry child. I'm not
Yes.
happy with 5 to 6,000. I need more people.
Let's do
And
more. Let's do more.
let's work out a strategy that
Beautiful, sir.
globally how we can help the entire universe. Even
From
if I
India,
have to,
let us help. From India, let us help America. They don't have access to such well rounded teachers here. They don't.
okay,
It's a fact.
okay,
And
okay.
I will also share with you now that you raised humor is such a beautiful and integral part. Anything that is delivered with a joke. I remember to this day my father saying when he was in the Marine Engineering College, one former army, he was a former, I guess, naval officer, came to teach one class, and he brought a gun, and he was making a point, and suddenly he picked up the gun and he fired in the at the ceiling, the roof, and whatever he was teaching, the boys are like, boom, it all went in because it was so shocking, it was so unexpected, and I mean nothing bad happened, but it was just, I mean, whatever he was teaching, that whole lesson was just stamped on their brain, he said, and in fact, now that you're mentioning it, I'd wanted to share with you a couple of other things as well, if I may, but I really don't want to talk, so you have so many beautiful ideas, and I want to work with you. Let's make this happen. And a couple of things. The Hindu University of America, they have the top experts in yoga, pranayama, Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, teaching lessons all over US. So one of them happens to be my yoga teacher from 40 years ago in India. His name is Sri Raghu Anantanarayanan ji, and he was directly Sri Krishnamachari's student. And Raghu Anna, as we used to call him, I was 12 years old at the time. He was 32 years old, so just 20 years older than me. Now I'm 51 and he is 71, and he looks younger than me. He is not aged at all from the age of 32, and I look like his grandmother. So
Sister.
now Raghu Anna conducted a class on Mahabharata. And this was it was actually a therapy class, believe it or not. It was beautifully done. I've already talked to him about helping Indian children who are in mental distress using the Mahabharata. I'm so grateful that you brought it up, because it is the same kind of, storytelling as a vehicle for processing difficult emotions and emotions that are not accessible easily. And the gem that I got so many gems from his classes. It was a 12-week course. But one of the biggest gems was he gave us some reading material that was not commonly known about the Mahabharata, but it was in the Mahabharata. So we read it and it was eye-opening. And then he'd say, imagine you are Arjuna in this situation, right? And have you been through something similar in your life, and how did you process it? And so then, I realized by the end of it, I had put on the Arjuna hat, the Nakula hat, the Sahadeva hat, the Yudhishthira hat. And so within me was all of them. But when the story is told, only those facets are highlighted of those particular human beings. And it is like like a bead mala or a flower mala. You are seeing just those colors or those scents that are being highlighted. But in reality, that human being has all the 2 million facets of all the other characters. See, this relating to a character in the journey or playing that character role. So by the end of the class, I realized I was every character in the Mahabharata, and that, in fact, that Yudhishthira could have been Bhima in certain situations, but they were not highlighted in the story. So, or Duryodhana could have been somebody else, or Karna could have been Krishna, or Arjuna could have been, Dushasana, maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that there were so many interconnections there. I couldn't even believe how these characters were there. And of course, he didn't explore the bad characters. He explored the badness of the good characters. But the bad characters, there are people with that depth of negative emotion too, that we need to reach at that depth and resolve those the negativities. The other thing was the Sapa Academy, which is run by Bindu and Ambi Subramanian, who are the children of violin maestro L. Subramanian in Bangalore. We can take their help in getting a music curriculum. They're very secular in their music. Last year for Christmas, they released a beautiful song, Mary, Did You Know that your baby boy was born to deliver us? When you delivered him, do you know that he was born to deliver us? Beautiful song. All Hindu children, they sang it so well. I couldn't even believe my ears how beautiful they were trained and sang it. They would gladly participate in any secular music program and helping us with that. The children are beautiful. I have a relationship with them on social media. I think we can do that. If anybody, you live there, you know so many more people than I know. I'm just making some suggestions. That's all. For humor, sadly lacking on this end. But I think my mother, she's the master of dirty jokes. She cracks a lot of dirty jokes. And what I can say is, one time I remember we were going to the Diwali party for my father's company and the employees, and we were late. We were 45 minutes late and everybody is there. The employees are calling my father, what happened? And as usual, there are 4 women getting ready. So poor father. So on the entire way, my father is like so upset because he's been ready on time and waiting for the 4 women to get ready. So my mother started cracking dirty jokes. By the time we reached the destination, there was no anger, nothing. We were all laughing about the jokes and we got out of the car and feel like nothing happened, So, I completely agree. It's certainly not dirty jokes, but whatever clean jokes, let's have it fun. No point leading life without fun.
Thank you.
And celebration.
Thank you. So, point well taken. there is a very dynamic lady at this point of time in India, who is
Mhm.
Secretary School Education, Madam Anita Karwal. I keep watching her programs quite often. Now
Lovely.
there's a new chairman who has taken over for the CBSE, Mr. Vinit Joshi. And
Okay.
yesterday, day before yesterday, when we had a program on 4th, can you imagine? It was inaugurated by none else than the director for the vocational training and education of the CBSE, which has got the largest chunk of the schools and institutions in India. I hope
Wow.
I hope National Council for Teacher Education team is also watching this particular program at this point of time. If National Council for Teacher Education, they are watching this program, this particular idea to be brought as a part of our B.Ed curriculum, which we are delivering at present, or which we propose to deliver through the National Council for Teacher Education, and particularly the vertical, which is taking care of the entire Northeast India. I'm going to get in touch with Madam Bhagwati, who is the regional head taking care of National Council for Teacher Education for the Eastern Zone. I will contact her urgently. Northeast India, children have got tremendous talent. I may not be in a position to take entire India in one go, but let
Okay.
me just come pocket-wise, and
Absolutely.
particularly the region which we neglected for quite some time.
Yes,
The,
sir. I
the,
agree with you.
the
Let's bring
region,
them in back home.
yes, they should come to the main fold. They need better,
Absolutely.
they need better connectivity. They need
Absolutely.
better bandwidth. They need better devices for the digital, and they
Yes.
need better opportunities. That's what all we have to work it out. I will try
Absolutely.
and bring Ministry of Education and
Lovely.
also National Council for Teacher Education, particularly the
Yes.
eastern part of India. And I will
Absolutely.
contact them tomorrow itself, and I'll work out. And
Wonderful.
the,
Thank you.
the CEO of the Media Entertainment Sector Skill Council is watching this program, Mr. Mohit
Oh,
Soni, and he is so gaga,
bless.
he's so happy. And we are going to develop a program. Let
Yeah.
us develop a pool. Let us develop a pool of young boys and girls. Those are
Yes.
doing B.Ed program. They are in the final semester. They are going to
Wonderful.
be teachers, and if we have happy teachers, if we have well informed and matured
Beautiful.
and gaga teachers, the world is going to be a better place.
Better
That's the way
place.
we have to work out.
Absolutely. And
So,
this thing where in India we worship the teachers, that is the best thing. That is the
yes,
best thing for society, because
yes.
here they don't worship teachers, and I can see the effect it is having on education.
And,
They
and,
don't,
and
it is not a good result.
yeah,
Ultimately, the teachers have to be revered as God in society. And then we have a chance of the children coming out good, you know.
our
Otherwise, we have to
children,
homeschool. Yeah, homeschool the children. We have to
yes,
learn physics, 12th grade physics, mathematics, whatever, electricity, biology, molecular biology, and all that. We have to learn all these subjects. Better to
yes.
worship the teachers and give them the respect that they're due, and shower them with love, affection, and education. And give them all the tools, like you said, sir. Everything that you
Thank,
said, each one
thank you,
is
sister.
a
Thank you,
brahmastra.
thank you.
What you said,
Thank you, sister.
storytelling,
Thank
the
you,
comedy.
sister. It's a
You're welcome.
wonderful. Now let me come to the final question. I need little
Yes,
more time from you. I'll come to the final question.
please.
If we have better teachers, we'll have
Yes,
better environment in schools.
yes,
So I think it is a right time. We got to focus more on teachers in a very humble way. I'm also a teacher, but I would
yes.
like to say, let us not worry about children. Children are well informed. They, by the gift of God, they are born in such a time, they have come out to this world with the gadgets. They have got social media. They are very
Yeah.
smart. They are very creative. They are
Mhm.
inquisitive. Let's not kill their curiosity. Let's not
Absolutely,
kill their creativity. Let's not
absolutely.
kill their innovative spirit. We should not teach
Beautiful.
them only A for apple. We should give them 20 other opportunities to learn. A stands for
Completely.
many other things. A is for
Absolutely.
appreciation. A is for aptitude, A is for attitude, A is for assertiveness. This is always coming to my thought because
So
I
lovely, sir.
want to think it from that perspective,
Lovely.
And like C, I always say C for Chandigarh, C for calling, C for character. C, basically the skills which are required in education. Three important skills: curiosity, creativity, and communication. It's a golden
Beautiful.
triangle. So
Beautiful.
I always take it from that. Now I am going to develop the program with you. Finally, sister, I come on
Yes.
the finale. I want to have your views. Teachers do not know the home condition of children.
Correct.
Teachers do not know, no institution is keeping a roster or now on the laptop or anywhere the profile. Whenever I bring somebody to ICSI,
Yes, sir.
whenever I give somebody an opportunity to be a part of my organization, before I want to know the individual, I want to know the family. I want
True.
to know how many brother, how many sister, what father is doing, what mother is doing. Is she a
Yeah.
homemaker? Brothers, whether they are elder or they are youngsters. What
Right.
happens is the God has given so much of exposure world over to me that I want to repay back now. So what
Beautiful.
happens is when you travel too much, when you see the world too much, your approach sometimes is too aggressive and too fast and too catalytic, and some people can't keep the pace with you. But well, I have got a limited time on this planet and I want to contribute substantial before I disappear. And this particular task, which we had already thought of, please give me the idea. When we are thinking about neuro coaches,
Yes, sir.
and I'm thinking about B.Ed students, I'm thinking about Northeast part of India, I'm
Absolutely.
minimum thinking graduates, not less than graduates. And
Okay.
if I'm thinking their onward journey, and I want they should travel world over, they
Okay.
should go to different countries,
Love
and
it.
and no caste, no color, no creed, no apprehensions, no
Absolutely.
inhibitions. Africa, Asia, Latin
All
America,
over.
America,
Beautiful. The
Canada,
world
any
needs
place.
healing. Yes.
Yes.
The world
So
needs healing. Yes.
yes. World needs healing. Wow, that's a buzzword.
On a
World,
cellular level. And our
yeah.
neuro coaches, have you had mental health issues during the pandemic? Have you been worried that you might lose your job? Or did you lose your job and find there was not enough money for the next meal on the table? Did it cause anxiety to you? Have you had uncontrollable crying spells since the death of a friend or a family member? Do you have a loved one in Ukraine? Have you suffered the effect of the Ukraine war with your child as an MBBS student there? Are you orphaned by the pandemic? We have people who are trained that can heal you from the inside out. Please contact our neuro coach. And this is the kind of thing we can give. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but there are so many avenues in which they can reach. And the education is not just at a school level, it is for global healing. Actually, the word doctor means teacher in Latin. And so teacher is a doctor. A teacher is a healer. And only teachers can heal the current global divided world and injured planet.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
This actually reminds me, this one young lady who was a very big shot in Microsoft, and I had contacted her for a project that we had to work on together. Indian girl from Delhi, very prominent family, both parents, doctors, and so on. If it's time, please tell me. I'm happy to
No,
wrap up
please go
really
ahead.
quickly.
No, sister, take your time. I'm
No
I'm I'm
problem. So
I'm
sweet,
very
sir. Thank you.
happy
I appreciate
because
it.
it is coming to my soul. It's coming to my soul. Please go ahead.
Beautiful. I will work with you. I want to work with you on this. We will make this a success. And you will see this vocational training has long been one of Dr. Vis's very close to his heart. He has wanted to set up vocational training schools all over India for training electricians, plumbers, bricklayers, AC people, all these, and construction people. So people who do different types of the construction work, right? So, and we know somebody here. In fact, somebody here that both Vivek ji and I know, who's the chancellor of the University of Texas at Arlington, is an Indian Parsi gentleman from Bombay. So and UT Arlington has their School of Vocational Trades, all the trades they have. So this is just the beginning. But in addition to neuro coaching, we can also do something called health coaching, which is a user's manual for the human body. So that can be a different cadre of Northeast individuals or individuals from the rest of the country, however you want it. And they can teach the basics of human health. And that is a 4-month course. That's a more intensive course, but it's something that every human being on the planet should go through. Doesn't matter which part of the world they live in.
Okay.
So and these are real jobs, and these will bring real solid income, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month to these people easily.
Okay.
And so coming back to the story of this lady, I'll quickly finish. She was having problems conceiving. She was 37, 38, and repeatedly tried in vitro fertilization, and there more and more pain, more and more injections. She was crying all the time. I had contacted her for business, and she just said, I'm out sick. I've had some fertility related issues. Then I said, what is it? Can I help you with something? And this whole story opened up, and I've lived here. I've always taken care of myself. And when I first came here, I was doing dishes in the houses of the Indian cardiologists. I would cook for them. I did this, I did that. And all on her own. And then I said, what happened? I split from my parents after my undergrad in engineering. My father was very cruel to me when I was a child. He used to lock me up in the basement with the rats and everything, without food and all this. And so then I said, this is the problem. This is why you're not able to conceive, because that negative energy hook is still there. So we did this emotional freedom technique, which is tapping. So we do a sankalpa, we make a statement. Even though my father treated me cruelly, or my mother, didn't feed me, whatever it is, or whatever problem that the person is saying that they're having, my husband, my wife is abusive, whatever it is, my child is grown up and not caring to call, whatever it is. So tap in the different parts of the face. We did this repeatedly. I think we must have done about 100, maybe 200 rounds of it over 2 sessions. The next time she went, she was able to get pregnant. She had the eggs. She had literally, she'd been trying for 2 or 3 years prior to that to get pregnant. And now she's the mother of 3 daughters, 2 twin daughters and 1 daughter, all in the late 30s and early 40s. So emotion has, this is so powerful, this neuro coaching, to do this, to get rid of past traumas and past hurt. And it also makes the person healthier for life and more able to do more. Then she joined a PhD program after that, did very, very well in that. Everything had been blocked because the previous trauma had not been processed. Very, very brilliant and hardworking. She was like a vice president level in Microsoft. Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to share that story because this all makes a big difference.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you.
Absolutely,
in fact, it's a valuable input from your side, and we are going to work onto it. And one thing, I don't know, I'm psychologically stuck somewhere myself. I do not want to use word health anywhere. I want to use word wellness. I don't know what has happened to me, because whenever I think about health, I think about hospital, I think about surgery, I think about stretcher, I think about other kind of doctors. Whenever I think about wellness, I think about yoga, meditation, organic food, naturopathy, positivity, music, happiness.
Nice.
So
we can call it wellness coach, no problem. Wellness. And neuro coach is a different job. What we talked about, processing trauma and helping them with emotional freedom technique, this is a different job.
Okay.
We can give dual training if they want, but each is the wellness coach program, that's a 4-month program, twice a week with homework and all that.
Okay. And sister, If
Yes, sir.
anywhere with the neuro coach, we can bring a word anywhere, which is befitting to the Media Entertainment Skill Council, which I
Okay.
told you. It may
Yes,
be
sir.
music, it may be music, it may be happiness, it may be humor, it may be storytelling, it may be anything. If we have to link up, because then I can make this program legally acceptable by the government of India. I would make a request to Dr. Nirmaljeet Singh Kalsi, who's the chairman of the NCVET, the final authority as far as the skill programs are there. I'll
Yes,
speak
sir.
to NSDC. I'll speak to CEO of the Media Entertainment Skill Council. I would like to bring this neuro coach for happiness, for something. I mean to say, I do not know what word to be used. Somewhere it has to be. Mr. Tyrone D. Brass, who is the headmaster in Tura in
Okay.
Meghalaya. It's a beautiful
Oh,
state.
wow.
When you visit
Yes, sir.
India, I will take you to Northeast. And
Thank you, sir.
he's
Thank
posting
you
a
very much.
lot of positivity. He's posting and he's writing. This ancient knowledge is so beautiful. We need to reclaim it and put it back into our modern lives in our today's education. Lot of
Absolutely.
people, those are joining from Northeast, they are writing over here. This session is so extremely enlightening. Thank you very much, madam. Our world needs a healing, definitely. Lot of views are coming from the world over, and we will work it
Absolutely.
out. We will take it up with the Ministry of Education. We will
Yes, sir.
take up with the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and we will
Okay.
go ahead with this program wonderful
Lovely.
way. And I'm
Lovely.
pretty
Let
sure.
us create. You said, sir, you said the right word. 6,000 is not enough. We can make 20 or 30,000 jobs all over
Yes,
India
yes,
easily.
yes.
And
And
these people will be neuro coaches and health coaches for the entire world, not just for India. And
okay,
if they're doing for whole world, then we can create 1 lakh jobs in each, because that is a demand.
okay,
That
okay.
is the demand for this kind of services globally. And it is not
Wonderful.
being provided by doctors, it's not being provided by teachers, by psychiatrists, psychologists. We know their job description does not extend to mental health and physical, like you said, mental and physical wellness, prevention of disease. Their
Right.
jobs do not extend to that, to the
Uh,
wellness side.
Dr. Priya ma'am, we will
Yes,
add this with our teachers' education in India, which is a B.Ed,
excellent.
because I personally feel if we will have better brigade and better command and better battalion and better company and better platoon in the army terms of the teachers, our students
Jai
are
Hind, sir.
going to be fine. Our teachers got
Absolutely.
to be first of all focused. Let's ducktail. Let's make this as an integral part and be
Beautiful.
ready. We will make a presentation to Government of India soon on that, and we will have a
Wonderful, sir.
separate session on that. And
Wonderful.
I zero down once again. I will start with the northeast part of India, and then I
Lovely,
come
sir.
to rest of India. And 1 lakh jobs, you have told. There is something known as services exports, and there are
Okay.
four modes of services exports. That
Mm-hmm.
is, number one, you physically travel abroad and you work. Number two, like a telemedicine,
Yes.
tele counseling and consulting, you sit in
Yes.
India and you work for someone. Number three,
Yes.
the foreign company is opening an office in India and you work for them.
Right.
I will give you all the four modes because our chamber is working on that, and we will take on this. Today is a wonderful beginning. It's a wonderful
Beautiful.
morning, and I saw
Beautiful,
your
sir.
commitment. It was morning 5 a.m. in California when you came for this program. What
Not at all,
else
sir.
elder brother could expect? And my blessings to you. I
So I
pray to
bow to you.
Almighty, and your
Thank you.
father is a wonderful person. My deepest
Thank you.
gratitude and regards to him also. And
Absolutely, sir. Thank you
it's
so much.
such a lovely interaction. Before we
Thank you.
close the session, final remarks from your side.
Yes. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for this opportunity, Gulshan ji. It is going to really be a very rewarding thing to work on with you, with your experience, your expertise, your guidance, and your mentorship. The amount of knowledge that you have, your humility, your grace. I think it'll be a wonderful opportunity for me to work with somebody like you. Let us do this for Mother India. Let us do it for your mother. Let us do it for my father and mother.
She's sitting behind me and enjoying.
Yes, namaskarams to your mother.
Dr. Sal
As
is
I
telling
call her
namaskaram.
lovingly.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Yeah.
Such a privilege such a blessing to have Auntie G in our midst. I can't believe at 51 years of age, I'm getting to call somebody Auntie. Most of them are calling me Auntie.
You can see her. You can see her.
Namaste.
Right over here. She's my energy. She's my oxygen, and she's my strength. My mother. My mother.
आशीर्वाद के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, please.
So wonderful. So I'm just so excited. I'm happy. I love your concepts, Gulshanji, humor, storytelling, music. Oh my goodness, these are all right up our alley. And this is how, as children, we were raised too, and with a lot of music, laughter, love, food. There was no we were not financially rich, but there was no spiritual impoverishment. I see it very much in America. Even though they're materially rich and financially rich, there is a tremendous amount of spiritual impoverishment, and it is impacting the children tremendously. And that's something we can easily alleviate from India. And I'm so grateful that you have come up with this idea of telemedicine. I just wanted to share with you, there's one more Norwegian lady as well who I've worked with, who is trained in some fantastic techniques that are also related to this tapping technique. But she has a knack of getting to the root of the problem. And so in the difficult cases, we can take her help in getting to the root of the problem, where, and I can ask her to create a module that can help the teacher get to the root of the problem with difficult children, difficult problems.
Done.
So
Done.
We have global knowledge and expertise, and the neuro coaching wisdom that we are bringing to this is from the world authorities here in America. So I will make an introduction with you and them, and we can take their help in making some joint ventures, and we'll create this curriculum. I will help you with it. I will take their materials and their permission, and we will get it done. No
Thank
problem.
you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Wishing you a wonderful day ahead, and our
Thank you.
deepest gratitudes and thanks to you, Dr. Priya ma'am. It was such a
Thank you.
pleasure to have you, and
Thank you,
may
dear
God
Doctor.
bless
Thank
you.
you, sir.
May
God
God
bless
bless
you.
you always. My regards,
you.
deepest regards to your family. Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much.
Thank you.
Namaskaram to you, and
And
namaskaram to you.
all our brothers and sisters from the world over, those who are watching this particular program, I'm so grateful to all of you, and particularly
so
the
much.
younger generation, Roshni Beham, and then we have got Anamika, we have got Tyrone D. Brass, we have got Sakshi, we have got Mamta. Oh my God, you people have been with us, Bal Krishan ji, and there are many others. Those are watching this program. I'm
Lovely.
grateful to all of you. Thank you very much. Thanks
Thank
for
you, sir.
being
Thank you.
Thanks